Hello and welcome everyone. Today it's the Stanley Parable, a game that won't annoy anybody. Honest. Smooth, quiet play, nice and relaxing. I don't think I need to check the settings, do I? No. We're going to begin. The end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
We gathered that from the name.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them.
That's such a dull game.
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
He realized his life was nothing but a game.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions.
Nobody had turned up to work.
Or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked,
Indeed.
Frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
No, now we're moving. Right, okay, so I have control. I hate Mondays. It's a cup that a lot of people have. Okay, let's have a look. We can't interact with any of the doors. But 429 is definitely not at work.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I'm guessing the meeting room must be down here. Can't do anything with that door. It's another piece of office. Okay, we're going around in circles. 425's open. Can't go that way. Hang on a second. That numbering... Yes, 427, 429. So the corridor's round the other side. We can't access it at the minute. They were playing Patience, though. They were definitely playing Patience on company computers. 415. That looks like a meeting room and a back door, but nobody's in there, and we can't get through that one.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm going on the one on the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I'm guessing that this corridor just takes us round to where the other thing is. That room's closed. That room's closed. That one's open.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I thought it said something else.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Why would I want to take the first open door on my left? I'm going to go the wrong way.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. Okay. So we've basically gone completely the wrong direction. We have no jump button. What's this? Penalty for misuse of cargo lift. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift. A. Do not jump from the cargo lift whilst in motion, as it will cause death. Well, that sounds like fun. And probably something we're going to have to do. The only problem is...
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
I take it we're going that way,
though.
sir.
You've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Oh,
now
God.
listen carefully, this
3
is
doors.
important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I suppose we better do something that they say at some point, so we'll go through the red door this time.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now.
Yeah, you fucked me over with the doors,
Don't you see that
dude.
it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for?
I don't know what we're looking for, mate. Right.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think... No, wait. Where are you going?
It wasn't good enough.
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
No.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
There's no doorway. I'm just going to jump off because there's no doorway.
No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Might as well, because there's bugger all here, isn't there? And unless they're... Hang on, have they changed it?
No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Oh. I'll jump off, and if I survive, I'll go through the door that he wants me to.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that? Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
Don't see very much at all.
I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Pretty colours. There's nothing here, dude.
No, perhaps not.
And there's nothing here, so... He's not talking anymore. Why is he not talking anymore?
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
I don't know, are you?
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't... Do you actually want to stay alive?
I
Or are
think
you
I've
just
pissed the game
teasing
off
me?
enough, so let's see what happens if I... He's got more... I really am walking slowly, though, for some reason.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I still thought that was possible.
Give me something to do, then. Come on. It's just like pretty lights. You can't jump. The stars have gone out. So now we've just got the blobby on the sky. And the light goes out. Stars are back. It's all very well having a slideshow, but come on, there's got to be something else to do. The guy's not speaking either. Why am I going so slow? That's one of the weird bits here. I am, for some reason, walking extremely slowly. I'll not throw myself off the top this time, but... Well, I would have jumped off there if I had a jump button. God, this feels really slow. There is... Oh, I can crouch. I have 2 buttons that let me crouch. So, I mean, this guy is hopefully going to do something at some point. You have to be here for a certain amount of time. So I've got a dead-end room with a dead-end nothing, with a dead-end whatever the hell's happening. I mean, there is literally... I mean, if they did give you a jump, you'd be able to jump off the side, like, but... maybe I just upset him too much and now I'm stuck in this area. Why am I moving so slowly? This is weird. I mean, there's no doors or anything. Maybe if I throw myself off the top again and I die, then it'll reset something. Let's have a look. I do kind of get the feeling I might have pissed the game off by automatically not doing what it wanted me to do. Although, how you don't die from falling from this height, I don't know.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
Oh, there you go.
Going back. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
So this
Stanley
time,
decided to go to the
we'll
meeting
do what he
room.
wants.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yep, the door on the left.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tips for
Feeling a
not
wave
getting
of
fired.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Take aggressive action. I like it. Alright, so we obviously have to go this way. Broom closet. It'd be the broom closet. It said up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, posh land. Is this the boss's office? No, that's just the executive bathroom. No one at the desk. Interesting location. I did think there might have been something in the realms of a computer or something that you can interact with. But obviously not.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Oh,
Of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
And it had nothing to do with being able to hear the guy.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Doorway up there. I don't know if I've meta pressed down, but it's worth a giggle to see what happens. But I've not been bumped off yet.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Like a mixture of... That was no good sign. It's like a mixture of portal
Stanley
and...
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
This is a really long corridor.
Making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Or maybe we will do the mind control room this time. Every time I've gone and tried to bump myself off or something, it's always got a bit pissy. So I did think they might have thrown in one of those trick corridors. I think Silent Hill 2 has one where you head in one direction and you're walking and you're walking and you're walking. You turn round and you're almost instantly back where you started. It's quite funny.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Big light bulb, sheet of paper. Okay. I'm guessing. Oh, there you go.
Lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
There's another tower there and another tower there. Oh, yeah, walkway. CCTV.
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Hang on a minute. 4... What was my number? 427? Who's Stanley? Yes, this is the question, Chaotic. Who indeed? Hello and welcome to the Stanley Parable. 427, not fired. That's always a good start. Somebody did... I was singing Stanley. Yes, Stanley, of course. That's exactly who it is. Yes. Someone suggested this game. Because apparently it's not frustrating at all, and I'm like, yeah, I've got a feeling it probably is. Although,
mind control
all I've done so far is piss the guy off doing the narration.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was
elevators
happy with
here.
his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it?
The narrator sounds familiar, and I can't
truly spent his entire
remember.
Life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working.
He very intense, overacting, which I think is a must.
As the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
A flashlight would be really fucking useful.
The controls once and for all.
Well, I would if I knew where the I had to go. Hang on a minute. There's a number 3. Do I have to do them in order? That is the question. There's a number 5. Okay, hang on. No. No. There's a 2 and a 1. Okay, so hang on a minute. 1. 2. I saw a 3 because I went up and pressed the bloody thing. 3. There's number 5, so where's number 4? Yeah. Oh, here we go.
And when at last he found the source of the room's... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do.
I thought it was the power on, so I could then turn things off.
Controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much
Hi, Star. Good to see you.
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode.
Oh, nuclear detonators.
The entire complex. How long?
The narrator's getting a right fucking strop on.
Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now.
Yeah, shut the fuck up and get on with it, dude.
Desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room.
3.
These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here.
Hello there, Mia. How are you doing? I think I'm going to die again, you know.
That this video game can be beaten? Won? Sold?
4. We just need number 5, and then I've actually got them in the right bloody order this time. Well, this would just say 0, 5, 1, 4, 2. There's numbers all over the fucking place, actually.
Quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching.
I didn't even see a big red button, so where was the big red button?
Powerless to see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world. It's a tragedy. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces.
Yeah, me being blown to pieces. Because I have no clue what I was meant to be doing, so.
Choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Bastard. We're back at the fucking office again. Ah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, the first time round, I decided, screw it, because this was the problem.
Two open doors.
Where he says,
the door on his left.
To the left. So I went to the right and basically honked the narrator right off his tits. So he was a very unhappy man, and he caused me to commit suicide.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
tips for not
Stanley
getting
decided
fired.
to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I didn't go down last time.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, I'll go upstairs. I'll not honk him off again this time. What I need to do is not press the on button. I need to press the off button, even if that possibly doesn't make any difference. So here we go.
Stepping into his manager's office,
can I remember
Stanley
the code from earlier?
Stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Extra secret?
2845. But
of course, it's 2845.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
A flashlight really fucking would go down well. Can you press up? No. You can only press down. Okay. Hello there, Wolfie. How are you doing? Oh, Raft. You know, I remember when that first came out on PC, and there was a couple of people played it in the beta form.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
great, and no, I'm not going to go that way. It's a ridiculously silly corridor.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with
I did think that,
screens.
like I say, with the on button, I had to turn power on before I could then take control of something, but...
Did he have the strength to find out?
Get to where all the cameras are watching the office.
To life, their true nature revealed.
Employee 104 got fired.
Employee in the building.
So did, what's that one there?
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley...
It'll flash around in a second.
Eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
601 has been fired. 427's me. There I am. My crappy little office. So yeah, 2 dead so far. Once by nuclear explosion, so that has to be fun.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated?
You press keys on a keyboard when you are told which buttons to press on a keyboard. I mean, to me, that's like...
He refused to believe it. He
Why?
couldn't accept it. His
you don't need the person.
In someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Never.
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Probably.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored
until you got seasick, yes. Right, we're going to facility power again, and this time I'm going to press the other button, and if this fucker nukes me again, I'm going to slap him from one side to the other.
Dismantle the controls once and for all.
Once and for all. Just have to stop for a drink before he blows me up again. Well, that was different.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Of course it's not going to be over.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command.
You still got to get out of the building.
Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the
completely fake doorway.
None of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
It's a paper town, this, isn't it?
It will be his. And that was all.
That or it's a fucking TV screen.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
I still think it's a TV screen.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way right now that things
Give
were
him the
meant
turn
to
round
happen.
and see the building.
And Stanley was happy.
Okay. Right. So we're back at the beginning again.
All of his co-workers were gone.
That means I am going to have to go
Stanley decided
the
to go to the
alternate
meeting room.
route.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a
went through
set
that
of two
door.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yes, we're going to do that one again.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he'd come
Going
into a
down this
staircase,
time.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Plenty like notes left around the place, but nothing you can do with them.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had
Looks
he
like the
taken
door
that
shuts
risk?
behind you.
All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my
Coffee
co-workers
nut.
blinking mysteriously
I found
out of
your coffee cup.
existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt.
And then he
to
ends
have
up back
finally
in
found
here
an
again.
answer, an explanation.
God, can you imagine
His
trying to map
co-workers
out
were
this game?
actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Quite worthwhile
He thought to
trying
himself,
at some
I
point.
suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may
Coffee
as
cup.
well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
So, is Wolfie
Then
going
he
to start
imagined
streaming
himself soaring through space on a
Raft?
magical
That is the
starfield,
question.
and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in
If
their
Stanley
dreams,
thinks the voice in his head's annoying, he should listen to the one I
this was
have.
not a dream.
It's always
How
arguing
could
with
it
the
be?
others.
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
Let's give it a time to catch up.
He knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Only if I can access the
So he
fucking door and make
closed
a
his eyes
change.
gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back,
Do not move.
the fresh air of a world outside this
I'm
one.
going to get killed again.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back
That
to
or
my
it'll
job.
put me in the middle of a fucking
Let
road.
me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I
With all
want
the
is
mind
my
control,
life
does he actually
exactly the
have a
way it's
wife?
always
That is
been.
the question.
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Nope, you're not okay, dude.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh, fuck. Another time not to move. I have fallen down a hole in a game.
Of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who
called
had stumbled
Stanley
through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal.
I really thought there was more puzzles in this game, rather just these strange options.
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this.
I have no control over movement at the minute.
That she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned
staring at the body. See, back to the beginning.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone.
Wait.
Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Welcome, Petty. How you doing? Good to see you. Yes, I'm in a game that represents my life really well. None of these other doors seem to actually open.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Right, we're going to go to the left again, because there is the insanity direction to take.
There was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided
I don't know how many of you have
coming to a staircase,
played
Stanley walked upstairs to his
the Stanley
boss's
Parable.
office.
It's fairly nuts. Does this door open? Oh my god, this door opens! Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes, if the boss suffered losses, then... Oh, well, fair enough. Extreme bathrooms and Time magazine. Yeah. Conveniently covered so you can't see the T, because that way it would, yeah. Right, so there's not actually anything I can do in here, is there? No. Well, considering I've been blown up, murdered, oh, hang on. I couldn't get in here before. Something Doors Monthly. Hello, hello. There's an elevator. I didn't get into the elevator last time. I didn't know there was one. Of course, this is where I probably find that all of a sudden it comes to a grinding halt and I plummet to my death again. because the narrator's a right twat. Yep. So after all of that, I went nowhere. Okay. So if I press down, yeah, so we've got an elevator that makes noises and rumbles but doesn't actually do anything.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Open the door, dude. Come on. Getting pissy because I typed the code in too quick.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
He really got a bit pissy there, didn't he? How dare you? How dare you do this? Yeah. I mean, there's good to see you there, Generic. I mean, yeah, the certain parts of the backstage building like this gives me a slight Portal vibe.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh, we need to go to the escape one this time, don't we?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the
like
end
for
of
anyone
this
who's done the
hall,
Silent
Stanley
Hill
would meet
corridor,
his violent death.
this one does actually take as long to go back as it does to walk along it in the first place.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity
but we're going to go and kill ourselves again, because...
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront.
Plus, we've not been here yet, so... Yeah. Oh! Oh, hang on.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Yeah, I can't actually move. That's a shame. Oh, I'm going to die. Oh, no, not.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Hello, lady.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Thank you. I really would like to be able to see what the crap I'm working.
Just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
This looks like an interesting...
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Hey!
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
There you go. Come out of there, go forward, turn. God, people actually used to do this as well. The 2 doors bit, yeah. Texture files for paintings. This is so... It's a nice twist considering the past, shall we say. So we've got a door there, and a door there. There you go, so someone was... I was right, someone was playing solitaire. We've got all the credits. Let's have a look on this side. $4.31 to $4.36. Hide that photocopier. That's one thing that they also used to do quite a lot of. Put things up to hide various bits. It's like a museum, it's cool. Interesting. Narrator emails. Okay, so that's 15 seconds. Okay, hang on a minute. Oh, no. I thought it was going to be one of those funny ones where it decided to give you grief over stuff. Dead end room, bit of graphics. You see, every time you're trying to get close to it. That's the on-off button. Narration outtakes.
Stanley jumped in the river.
Stanley jumped in the river. Stanley did not jump in the river, thank you very much. Office clock. Freedom ending, yes. I don't know how many endings technically we've... actually had. We've got that one there. 427, so that's the office. Slightly different versions of. So my guess is we're now heading back to the... yeah, I can't reach any of them, so let's have a look.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
All I can see is a very
No,
black screen, thank you.
not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
And I just went and paused the game. No, we're gonna die because we have to get all the ending bits, don't we? It's a very cool area. It's the museum. Now I've got to try to remember.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, new content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
If there's a burning fire pit, then Gladys has got something to do with it.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
My God, 11 years ago.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
I get the feeling that the...
So far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
There's no buttons to press.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content.
At least he sounds happy now.
More ready. Let's do it.
No elevator music, though.
Impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
It's a new corridor.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Oh, we can jump now. You can't jump when you're out of the circle. Does this give you the ability to jump after? Okay. You could jump 36 times. Well, thanks for watching the new content.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content.
Oh, we've got a new elevator.
Else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley,
This one worked a bit faster, though.
Initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more.
There's a corridor.
Good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Still can't jump. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
You've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to
We'll
such
just stand in the corner for a
expectations.
moment.
If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Oh, I don't think I've got much of a choice, do I? Back in 427. Except this time, different room. With a photograph on the wall of outside the office in its normal location.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
If you kill me, I will so be unhappy. Mia's been here, her coffee cup's here.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a
Welcome
look.
to Elden Ring.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
What was that? Just the door knocker.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched?
Funny.
Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something.
The PlayStation version was free, so... Ooh, postcards. Even the clock saying 2013. CD. We're gonna put it on a CD. Demo. Well, that's good. Mind you, I mean, it's amazing how many people... I mean, even like Henry Cavill as well, well known for doing a multitude of video games. And there's a lot of people who, if they do one bit, they're more than willing to go back.
Is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created.
We're going to have to listen to him just go on, aren't we?
It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Memory zone maintenance, I like that. Actually, was there something readable? Oh. Can't quite make that out. Nostalgic. It was good. That strange double door bit. Yeah, Stanley and the woman. I hate Mondays. Selection of buttons for your walls. That's always fun.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley?
Blades.
The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation.
The fact
Boom,
is, you used to literally buy
and they
kits
couldn't even do
that allowed you
couldn't
to do
resist
texture.
the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Right, so there's no way other than... Oh, that door's open. But... the serious room. Yes, that's open, but the thing is, how do we move the boxes to get through? Unless the door...
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Yep, door
What
downstairs
I
is
wouldn't
open.
give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
I don't think they were.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
I could make a suggestion where you could stick them. But we'll try to keep it PG-13. That door.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley?
Yes.
I'm not preachy, am I?
Yes, you are.
You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Dear,
Oh, no, we've got the door
what
open.
an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record.
Unimpeachable.
I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations.
Patronizing voice, yes.
I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything.
I did wonder where we were going to head.
Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video
He's still
games.
talking bollocks.
Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's
I wonder how many
the power
times
of the
we're pressing this button.
The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Yeah.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God... Oh, Stanley, you're back.
It's now dark.
You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have
All the
had
bulbs are
time to
knackered.
think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not...
Has the narrator gone? Oh. The door's gone that was behind us. That is really quite a loud, annoying beep.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us.
How many times did we press on this button? Come on, dude. He's gone again.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never
Oh, I think he's broken.
Is never the end, 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 is never the...
He has to have a flashlight, definitely. Well, he's not talking anymore. It's a plus. But there's also no doors anymore, because there was a door here. So... yeah. I'm guessing time passed. Oh, we've got daylight. That's just part of the roof collapsing. Next. Oh, we've got plant life. We need the walls to collapse, though. I see trees. That's a good sign. That's not a good sign, though. All the greenery's fucked off. There's no stars up there. I'm so... the room's on a tilt. Oh, hang on. Welcome to Arrakis. Don't suppose the button... No, but button's broken. I can climb on the top of the roof now. Oh. Game is loading. Oh, you are kidding me. We're back to the start again. There's no voice though this time.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Yeah, the orders were definitely missing. Interesting how 25 and 26 are over here. 25's got 2 doors, and they were definitely playing solitaire.
Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
New content. Okay, so
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
we will do one more round of new content. That was a bit sped up. He's not talking though, is he?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
And as if not to go too far deep down the rabbit hole, I'm going to end this one a little earlier. But this has been the Stanley Parable. Thanks everyone for dropping by, and some good funny signs there. Any more good cups? New mug, okay. So, I've got to try to remember what we're doing. Next Thursday is going to be No Man's Sky, if I can just sort out the base visit that we need to organise and sort out. And Tuesday, I haven't quite worked out what we're doing there, but we're going to be doing something that will probably involve people getting shot and me potentially dying again. I think I actually lost track of how many times I died in this game. But anyway, that will be it for today. Thanks, everyone, and I will catch you all again very soon. Nearly got the video finished that I was working on, and I'll get that out as soon as I can. So until then, bye-bye for now. Catch you all later. Oh, and thanks for watching. And don't forget to sub, and you can have your say and join the Discord and things like that, because, you know, the links for the Discord's over here. So yeah. So until then, burbs, and catch you all later. Bye for now.